Well, fuck the people that try to make you scared, you know, and fight back.
Pedro went from being the internet's zaddy daddy, two terms that I'm so sick of, not sick of him though. He's gone from being the internet's favorite person to now being hated by a group of people on Twitter, now known as X. I actually smell a big fat rat. I don't believe it's true. I genuinely think that they're just trying to take him down. Why? Because I think Pedro recently has spoken up for a lot of really important, contentious subjects that most people are scared to talk about. But I'm glad he did. It was important to do that, Pedro. So please don't stop doing it just because now people are trying to turn against you. Protect the dolls. He was the first person to wear that t-shirt and make sure publicly everybody knew he was supporting the trans community with all the crap that they were having to deal with. Second thing, Cannes Film Festival, Eddington press conference. He was asked about this idea of people being afraid to speak up for themselves. Now, he's from Chile, so he's an immigrant and he understands the importance of everybody feeling like they've got a right to live in America, in the UK, wherever in the world, and not be persecuted for their heritage.
I'm an immigrant. My parents are refugees from Chile. I myself was a refugee. We fled a dictatorship, and I was privileged enough to grow up in the U.S. and after asylum in Denmark. And if it weren't for that, I don't know what would have happened to us.
Again, take that into account. Take into account he spoke up against J.K. Rowling, which hardly anybody else has done to support the trans community. I just think put all that together, there's going to be people that are not going to like Pedro Pascal. They're accusing him of being a bit of a pest, a bit of a perv, being too affectionate and touchy and feely with his co-stars. In particular, recently, he's been doing the whole press run with Vanessa Kirby for the Fantastic Four. Vanessa Kirby has also been holding his hand, also been affectionate to him, rubbing his neck, and nobody's kicked off about that at all. It's really important to also remember that this isn't something that Pedro Pascal only does with women, because he's been doing it from the start of his career. If you look at him with most of his co-stars over the last few years, whether it was Joseph Quinn with Gladiator, and now it's also Paul Mescal, Bella Ramsey, Vanessa Kirby now, Chris Evans, Materialistic, Dakota Johnson, until I hear somebody say, I told him to stop and he carried on holding my hand. I told him to stop hugging me and he carried on hugging me. I don't believe it. I'm curious to know your thoughts. And if you agree with me and this takedown is something that's been created just because Pedro Pascal has the power to change people's points of view and highlight injustice that is happening right now in the world that often most people are scared to speak up against.